The EU is committed to achieving smart, sustainable and inclusive economic growth, and it is in this context that we consider research and innovation and investment in our future. There is an urgent need for Europe to overcome the innovation paradox, which is we have very good science but very little innovation and market deployment. In particular, we are investing significant amounts on research and innovation in health, demographic change and well-being, as well as on environmental sustainability and climate action, focusing on key societal challenges and addressing unmet environmental and medical needs. We are doing so under Horizon 2020, as well as through joint technology initiatives such as IMI, that's the Innovative Medicines Initiative, and BBI, which is the bio-based industries, as well as various other joint programs and partnerships. In the context of these partnerships, we are implementing rigorous EU rules in full accordance with EU values. We are also making funding decisions in consultation with various public and private stakeholders, always placing as top priority the health and environmental needs of EU citizens. All constructive criticism is welcome and will be factored into the impact assessments and the proposals for the next generation of public-private partnerships.
Merci.
Thank you. Any further questions for Johannes on this topic? Research in general? Any further questions? I see that two people have raised their hand. Odile, first of all.
Oh. C'est bon, nous te voyons.
We can see you, Odile. No, we've lost you. Thomas.
Thomas Miglierina. Press speak. Thomas.
I am speaking. I'm speaking. Yeah, you hear me. Yes, good.
Is it on this?
Yes, it is on this. Good. I heard the Johannes answer. Thank you, Johannes. But I didn't understand whether you're confirming or not what it's written on the reports and on some of the articles that have already come out, namely that there was a proposal from the European Commission to fast-track work on vaccines, and this was rejected by industry partners. Is this correct?
This is correct. But I didn't actually respond on that question, but I'm happy to do so now. But that was, at least as far as I heard, not the question before. Indeed, so there was a proposal in 2018. So that for the proposed topic of biopreparedness, IMI already has several projects in its portfolio that contribute to addressing biopreparedness and also the coronavirus pandemic. So one example is ZAPI, which is a project launched in 2015, and where there was research into coronaviruses. In this project, antibodies originally developed for the MERS epidemic are now in clinical studies to investigate the potential effectiveness also against COVID-19. So now exactly on your question about the proposal 2017-2018, it was back then considered that while the Commission supported this and proposed this, it was considered that part of this was already addressed elsewhere and by mechanisms other than IMI. And that's why it was rejected by the industry partners. Nevertheless, it's very important that this topic will remain to be discussed within IMI. So there's some modeling and some models which I can refer to you in writings, maybe easier, which are done. So, for example, math modeling in Silco models or clinical studies using controlled human challenging models that have actually been included in other IMI parts, such as the current call on the innovations to accelerate vaccine development and manufacture. So you see, it's not an easy reply to your question, but it's true that there was this discussion in 2018 that the Commission proposed to strengthen biopreparedness, but that was rejected because it's already addressed elsewhere within the wider horizon response.
Okay, thank you very much. Thomas, tu as un follow-up? No?
A follow-up, Thomas? No?
Je ne vois pas.
Thank you for... Yes, first of all, thank you for confirming the thing and for explaining the thing better. Now I would like to ask you about your analysis. I mean, do you think there are lessons to be taken from this? Have you already started considering whether this is any lesson or is it just fine like that?
I think I already gave our reply. So we take note of the report. We now, of course, analyze them in more detail. They're just published today. But it's, of course, important, which also said already, is these partnerships are important to address the innovation paradox within Europe that we have. It means we have very good science and we have not as much innovation and market deployment. It's also important to underline that the funding does not go to the big multinationals within the PPPs, but to small companies and independent researchers, while the companies, the pharmaceutical companies, and for the case of IMI, would add their part of the contribution, either financial or in kind. So it's very important to underline that, because this is also misreported sometimes in the press. So we think this is very beneficial and very important PPP, both actually, IMI and BBI. But as I also said, we of course welcome all criticism or, let's say, feedback, and take this into account for the next generation of PPPs.
Okay, thank you. I do not see any further questions for Johannes, so I open the floor to other questions.